What's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred. Cowboys get a big win. And, even Uncle Fred can't, and maybe a couple things I can say, but dude, when you win by 35, what you going to say? What you going to say? We're going to talk about that. We're going to give out our game balls. Man, the game been over like 5 hours, man. I've been trying to man, I went back looking at the game film, looking at some things and whatever, so I can give y'all a good report. And I'm not gonna just say, "Hey, we won," and whatever, and just say a whole bunch of mindless dribble. No, your boy don't do that. And then I'm gonna make a addendum to a video I made Friday when we was talking about Arkansas with Jerry Jones, LeBron James. There's something additional things I wanted to mention about that. Not retract anything, just some things I meant to mention and didn't. But we're gonna talk about this game first. So sit back, relax, put your seatbelts on. Uncle Fred finna get with it. All right, here we go. Let's go. Once again, what's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house, back in the saddle. One more again. Content Cowboys win, as you see on the screen, 54-19 over the Indianapolis Colts. Just went in and ran roughshod on them mugs. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing. So yeah, I'm gonna hype them up, man. When they don't play well, I'm like, yeah, come on, dude, what we doing here? What we doing? When we play well, man, I'm gonna give them all the love and all the props they're supposed to get. So go ahead and hit that like, comment, and subscribe to the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. For I guarantee you will not be disappointed. All right, let's get at it. All right, so first thing, Cowboys get the ball for a kick and promptly do absolutely nothing with it, but that's fine. Go 3 plays, punt, kicked it to the Colts, and so they promptly go. Um, uh, yeah. They promptly go 6 plays, 20 yards, and kick a 53-yard field goal. So it's 3-0. So you know, and so the Cowboys get back, get ball on their second possession, and so they did some things on that second possession. They got CD Lamb started getting the ball on runs, a 14-yard and an 8-yard run. I'm like, ooh, okay, CD, I see you, CD, I see you walking, big boy, I see you. So they got him on a couple of runs. So we end up going 12 plays, 75 yards, take up 5 minutes, 59 seconds on the clock. And we were facing a 3rd and 10 from the 20. And Dak goes over the middle on a crossing route to CD Lamb. He's going to be short, and I'm thinking we're going to have to kick a field goal. And he gets tackled. I want to say it was Stephon Gilmore, and I'm like, dang, he's short. But he kind of he gets tackles, falls on top of the tackler, and puts his hand down, does one of them little breakdance moves. You put your hand in and flip your legs over, and he struggles loose and goes the additional like 9-10 yards and sprints into the end zone. They had to go back and look at it. They said, well, no, none of the important parts touch the floor, touch the ground. Like your forearm, your knee, or your buttocks. None of those things hit the ground. So, it was a touchdown. So it's 7-3. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's 7-3. So, so the Colts get the ball again, and so they got 1st and 10 from I think the 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line, and they pump. He goes up top to Alec Pierce down the right sideline, covered by Anthony Brown. He started out fine, but then for some reason, when the ball's in the air, he kind of either forgets where he's at, not sure where he's at, because he kind of like went past the play, was like looking back, reaching back. Ball's over here to his right, and I'm like, dude. So dude catches it, ends up being a 45-yard game. I think that may have been his longest catch of the season. And he's a rookie. That dude played at Cincinnati, the University of Cincinnati last year, the Bearcats. They went to the CFP Final Four against Bama, lost 27-6. About 5-6 players on that team in the NFL. So that team kind of wasn't a fraud. You had him, and you had Jerome Ford in the backfield, and Desmond Ritter at quarterback, Kobe Bryant at a corner, and Sauce Gardner at the other corner. And I think they got a linebacker that plays for the Texans, I think, or the Jaguars, one of the two. San Diego, excuse me. It's the Chargers. I'm sorry, it's the Chargers. So yeah, they had like 6-7 players. But anyway, I'm digressing. Anyway, that guy's a rookie, and he beat Anthony Brown. And so yeah, that's what it is, man. And that's the second time a rookie done stole his lunch money. Because 3 weeks ago, Green Bay, Christian Watson didn't have no touchdowns at all. Got his first touchdown on Anthony Brown. And like I said, Anthony Brown has decent technique, but when the ball in the air, he just kind of like loses his way. Don't know where he's at. Don't know where the ball is with respect to where the receiver's at. And he just like he's lost when the ball's in the air. So that's just what it is, man. And then on like a couple of plays later, and I got to go at Diggs too because it was on the 15-yard line, and he thought they was gonna run a slant, so he presses up to the area where the slant pass would be, and the guy, I think his name is Austin Doolin, just promptly rolls to the back corner of the end zone, where he's standing in the end zone all by himself for a touchdown. And I'm like, wow, it's 10-7 now. Okay, so I'm like, well, again, and I don't think Diggs give up another play all game, but he every now and then he tends to do that, because it was a slant route, and I think the formation and everything told him slant, so he just went into the area was going to be thrown, and the guy just kind of rolled to the corner, and a little pump, and he went for it and went, and so if they can, Al Harris, who's the secondary coach, can get him to like stop doing that, just go where the receiver's going, make a play on the ball when the ball's thrown. If you get a pick, you get one, but don't want to take away his instincts, but we give him a touchdown. It's 10-7. So anyway, so it's 10-7. So the Cowboys get the ball, and it's we go 6 plays, 56 yards, and we go Tony Pollard has a 2-yard touchdown run, and on the very first play of that drive, he goes around the right end for 12 yards on the first play, and then they get down in the goal line, and then he gets a 2-yard touchdown. That made it 14-10. We exchanged punts. We got the ball back. And I guess that's one of them quarterbacks like, dang, I got this, kind of like Reese Bobby's, like he got this wild hair that he want to Reese Bobby from Talladega Nights. I might not have seen it. But anyway, he got to get the first interception out of his system so he can play. Because he threw a little pass over the left. It's 3rd down and 5 or 3rd and 10 or whatever it was, and threw it over to the left and for Gallup. And played by Stephon Gilmore. Now, I'm just going to say, Stephon Gilmore is probably one of the top 5 corners in the game. Now, he's not good as he was when he played for. He was almost, I think he's the defensive player of the year back in 19 when he played for the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all can correct the brother if I'm wrong. But he's still a very quality corner, okay? And so the route he ran like a little out route pattern, and Gilmore was there, and so what needed to have happened, and there was a little contact on the play because Collinsworth was talking about it, and but it wasn't enough, I thought. I mean, you could have called it, I would have been upset, but they really weren't calling tight coverage and a little bit of bumping like that. And for me, I'm fine if you're gonna call it tight or if you're gonna call it loose, let them play, let a little hand fighting going. I'm fine. I just want it to be all the way down, up and down. Just like when they play, when we play Green Bay, I thought they called a Chinchi offensive holding on Connor McGovern, and then they let Gallup get manhandled and then call me things. I'm like, look, man, either you're going to call it tight or let him play. But don't go at me cross-eyed. So Gallup really should have fought him to break the thing up or not let him, but he called it. And so they ran a couple of plays and they kick a field goal. I'm like, dang, it's a 1-point game. We will be, dominating them. It's a 1-point game. So we exchanged punts. We had punted, then they driving. I'm like, man, they're going to be ahead of us before halftime. They got a couple of first downs. And then for some reason, Matt Ryan, maybe this is why they benched him a few games ago, goes out to the left, tries a pass for, I think for Doolin, and it was intended for golly, who's it intended for? I had it wrote down. I can't read my own writing. Anyway, Malik Hooker intercepted it. Okay, interesting because he used to play for the Colts. Okay, but anyway, he intercepted it, and so we at the 26-yard line, and so we end up getting a 3rd down and 9 at the 13-yard line after a couple of plays. And Kellen Moore made an adjustment here because the way that they were playing us was they were going to use Gilmore on Gallup and use like some bracket coverage on CeeDee Lamb to take him away. So what Kellen Moore started doing was putting CeeDee Lamb in motion almost on every play. He's in motion. Okay. So in this particular play on this first 39 from the 13, they had CeeDee in motion, and what that ended up doing, that took Moore off of Gallup, and he ran with a CeeDee on when he's in motion. And so what Gallup did, he just ran a crossing pattern and stopped, and then kept going, pulled out to the right, dropped it right on him about the 3-yard line. He sprinted to the corner of the end zone, touchdown, second touchdown in the game, 21-13 at halftime. So I'm like, we got an interception. Gave up a couple of big plays that they probably shouldn't have got, but we are up by 8 points. But I'm not happy, but I'm satisfied. My son came in, watched the game with me. He said, dude, why the game so close? I said, hold on. Let's let this thing bake. Let's let it bake. All right. So third quarter really wasn't our friend. Okay. Punted a couple times, and finally, I'll be daggum if the Colts don't get after we punted, get at the 10. Well, it was at the 20, but they had a holding at half the distance or whatever at the 10 or whatever. They brought it back to the 5 and started the 20. I'm sorry, I had it right. They brought it back to the 10, so they had to go 15 plays, 90 yards, 8 minutes and 20 seconds, and they went 15 yards to Alec Pierce, the left corner of the end zone on Kelvin Joseph. And I look around and say, why is Brown not covering him? And we found out Brown got hurt. They carted him off the field with an ankle injury. So it seems to be a pattern. Brown gives up a big play and then gets out for the game, like maybe a quarter later, but still, So anyway, so that makes it, and then they tried for 2 and don't get it, so it made it 21. It was a 2-point game, and nobody did anything. But we're driving at the end of the third quarter. We get it down. We go 15 plays, 75 yards, and we had second down at the 35-yard line, and that goes to CeeDee Lamb on the right, and darn near got it. CeeDee Lamb ran the ball, ran it to the right sideline. For some reason, Dak threw it short and inside, and the dude, I think his name is Rogers, looked like he intercepted it, but then when they looked at it, it looked like he kind of let it hit around and he kind of caught it, and then he got up to thinking it's an interception that hit safety. I think his name was Zaire Franklin, blocks him and basically headbutts him, and as he's trying to make the tackle. And so they go look at it and they said, nah, it's incomplete. Personal foul number 44 blindside block. You got your back to your own goal line. You can't block somebody that way. And then he used his head too. Not only do they not get the football, but they get 15 yards. And we get the ball at the 20-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 from the 20. And so what ends up happening on the next play, on 3rd down from the 20, CeeDee Lamb takes across it after he adjusts his chain, nonetheless. I don't know what Chris Collinsworth for me to be a big deal because he's in motion. His chain can't snap on the football. He goes, cuts back. That drops it right in there to him. Then Zeke gets a block and goes down the left sideline, lowers his shoulder, blasts into number 25. I'll be like thinking CeeDee Lamb don't be liking no contact. He be making business. But he blasts into number 25. I'm like, oh, go on, CeeDee. I'm liking it. I'm starting to like what CeeDee doing. So they get to the 2-yard line, and so I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna go hand Zeke for the 2-yard touchdown. But I think that's what the coach was thinking too, because I'm thinking the same thing. But Dak goes straight drop, and Michael Gallup does a little stutter step to the inside, cuts to the corner of the pylon, putting himself, the defender, in the sideline, going towards the diagonal back corner, puts the ball right on the pylon. He promptly goes up, catches it, rolls over the end zone, gets his feet down, touchdown, and it's 28-19. And I'm like, all right, now we got a little bit of separation, and I'm starting to feel pretty good about it. Okay, but yeah, the adjustments, we're making, CeeDee Lamb's making, Michael Gallup, that's his 2nd touchdown of the day, and like I said, I'm liking how things going. It's 28-19, and then the very next possession, after a couple of plays, Matt Ryan, he throws a pass in the middle of the field to Mo Alley Cox, number 81, tight end, little middle tight end screen. He gets some nice yardage out, but 3 tackles him, the football out. Johnny picks up the ball, 38 touchdown. They try to go to, ran some sort of wide receiver pass or whatever they tried to do, whatever that crap was. Didn't work, but take the 15-point lead. All right, and then the turnovers kept coming. They kept coming. Next possession, Matt Ryan tries a pass over the right sideline. Deep outside. I think his name is it Gregory maybe? And my man Deron Bland played the ball perfectly. Goes up, intercepts it, and I'm like, dude. All right, so that's 2nd interception. Okay, so Cowboys promptly go 3 plays, 57 yards. On the very 2nd play of the drive, the Colts go from a 2 high safety to a single high safety. Dak promptly go to another read. It hits Dalton Schultz down the center, and it was kind of mentioned that Chris Collinsworth was saying Dak sees that they went from a double high to a single high, meaning he can hit the seam. So Dalton Schultz goes right down the seam, puts it right on him, and so puts it down at the puts it down at the 5-yard line, and puts it at the 22-yard line. And so then Tony Pollard put in. I like this play. Left end, Tyler Smith, 15 yards down the field blocking, and who else is coming coming up to make a crush block to let him have the line? None other than CeeDee Lamb making a crushing block on Zaire Franklin, giving him extra yards, and then about the 5-yard line. Tony Pollard does a little on number 25. It's like a Euro step and darts into the end zone. And I'm like, oh no, and extra point gets, I don't know, missed, blocked, whatever. And it's 40-19. And I'm like, okay, now the thing is starting to become, like, how I want it now. It's obvious that we won the game, didn't have turnovers on like back-to-back drives, interception, a fumble return, an interception, and another fumble, and so another interception and a fumble. CD made a great block, and I like that little Euro he did at the 5-yard line on number 20. So I like that. So next drive, made a couple of plays. Matt Ryan going on the left side, going for Austin Doolin, the guy that caught the early touchdown pass. I think he only had like one pass that game. He only had like 10 passes all season. He went to a college called Malone. I ain't never heard of that. I don't think they play football no more. But anyway, it gets undercut by Deron Bland. His second interception. I'm like, wow. Okay. So we got like 1st and 10 at like the 28-yard line. So we go 5 plays, 72 yards. And so they go a couple of plays. It's like 3rd and 8 or something like that. So that goes deep down the right sideline for Noah Brown. And the guy, his name is Brandon Faison, if I'm not mistaken. And it's interference where there's a ton of contact going down the sideline. Chris Collinsworth said, now, that is not defensive passing. If anything, that's offensive passing. They go to Gene Sayers' territory. Gene Sayers like, yeah, I'll have to agree. That's offensive pass interference because he reaches back, has the defender by the head and trying to reach through him and get the football. I'm cool with that, but your Uncle Fred got a memory like an elephant on some things. Some things I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Y'all get my age. Talking about, but I kindly remember back on last Thanksgiving where Zay Jones got a couple of those calls against Anthony Brown, where it's a short thrown ball. And he's reaching back, Anthony Brown in the head. He's reaching back, and they called it on him like 4 times. Them same kind of plays. And I don't know what the official was, but this official called it that the interference, and that guy was called it interference. But Chris Collinsworth said, no, and he's a receiver, and he's like, no, if anything, that's offensive pass interference. And so, and I was agreeing with that last Thanksgiving, but I was saying, since y'all gonna take it from us on that one, you're gonna give it to us on this one. So that ends up being like a 45-yard penalty. So that sets us up at the I think like the 26-yard line, 27-yard line. And then Zeke goes around the right end, high steps down the sideline, stops at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. Everybody in the stadium says Zeke. Everybody says Zeke. Second play, that makes an adjustment, sees the strength of the defensive formation going over to the right. So he motions Zeke to come over to the right. And when he makes the handoff, he's gonna cut back to the left. Cuts back to the left, plows into the end zone, and you knew that once the Mary-Kate Ashley or Dumb and Dumber, Zeke's calling them tight end, you knew when they got so much pub doing the 3 tight ends, doing the whack-a-mole thing, you knew daggone well Zeke was going to come up with something to do with the Salvation McKettle thing to rival that. And so the rule is you got to be up by a couple of touchdowns to do silly stuff like that. So at this point, it's 47-19. Okay. So that's surely there's plenty of space in there. We can try something silly. So runs for the Salvation Army kettle, jumps in it. Didn't jump in as he did back in 16 because he ran and didn't even do assistance. He stopped about a foot short, jumped up into the thing. This time he had to put his hand on the sling, his leg. We all get old, so it happens, right? So we get there. Cameraman's trying to get a shot of him and thing. Dak runs him, dude, get out the way, get out the way. And so Dak goes to the side of the thing and does the crank. Zeke goes down, he does the crank, he comes up. When he comes up, he's doing the feed me. And his dad is taking the thing. So it was all fun thing. So he jumps out the thing. So that ends up being that. And, that is yucking it on the sideline. It's like, it's a route. Everybody knows a route. Everybody eating. Everybody getting a touchdown. Everybody scoring. Everybody getting a turnover. And so, 47-19. I'm thinking to myself, look, man, Matt Ryan, I'm talking to a friend of mine. I'm like, man, they need to get Matt Ryan out of there. I mean, because really, the game is out. You going to get him. And look, Matt Ryan, I like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is one of the classiest in the NFL. Busy, never hit no stuff. He's professional. Don't complain. Time offensive lineman be getting him sacked 5, 6 times. He never complains. He just goes plays. Always seems like he's one of the good guys in the league. He's just of a dying breed of the standstill pocket quarterback. That has to have pocket. Pocket to be perfect for him to succeed. Any movement, he's out of his element. But he's a good guy. Man, like, why you got him still in there? 4 plays into the drive when he's in there, and I'm like, it's like 5 minutes left. You down 47-19. Go ahead and put what's my man's name? He's played at Philadelphia. I can't think of anything. Go ahead and put him in there. Go ahead go and put Nick Foles in there, or the dude from University of Texas, Sam Mellons. You're gonna put them in there. No, they bring him out on about the third play. He gets sandwiched by Odigizua and Sam Williams. Balls out. Sam Williams picks it up for a touchdown. They go back and look at it, and he got touched. So they picked the ball up at the 26-yard line, I guess. 2 plays later, Cooper Rush is in the game. So why is this dude in the game? That's what I'm saying. Malik Davis, a backup rookie running back out of Florida, goes off tackle, cuts to the sideline, darts to the end zone for his very first NFL touchdown, and we done hung a 50 burger on them dudes. It's 54-19. And, it's like 3 minutes left to go in the game at this point when they got the ball back. And Matt Ryan is still in the game. And so it gets down to like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. He's taking a knee. I'm like, hey, you all never see people taking a knee when they're losing in the game, but losing by 35, I guess that's what you do. So that's the game. We win 35. Win by 35. We win 54-19. So now I'm going to go with my my addendum to my video from yesterday. Okay. So my game gonna be, I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb, 5 catches, 71 yards, touchdown. Michael Gallup. Let me go back to CeeDee. We'll go back to CeeDee. CeeDee did some great things. He did some great things, man. He didn't just catch passes. He blocked. Routes. The football had 2 rushes for 23 yards. In addition to his 5 catches, had like 3 yards, 96 yards for the total offense. Great game. I'm starting. CeeDee Lamb starting to over. I'm like, yeah, he a number 1 now. He's definitely a number 1. He's not avoiding contact, so he get a game ball today. Okay, Michael Gallup only caught 4 passes, but he caught 2 touchdowns. You catch 2 touchdowns, you get a game ball. Okay, Pollard 12 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got to give him a game ball. That sweet 20-yard run down the left side now, where he did a little Euro step, stuff of legends, man. So got 2. I'm gonna give Zeke 1. Remember I said in my preview video, I said Pollard gonna get about 75, and Zeke gonna get about 55. Well, they outdid me. Because Pollard has 91 yards, and Zeke had 77. So Zeke had more yards than I had. Pollard having. Okay? So they end up with 200 yards rushing again. So anyway, so he gets a game ball. The defense gets a game ball because they forced 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. Fumble by Matt Ryan, 2 interceptions from him, and then also a fumble by Mo Alley Cox. And so he ended up with 5 turnovers. And individually, got to start with Malik Hooker. He had 2 tackles, 2 unassisted. He also had 1 interception and a fumble return for a touchdown. He definitely gets a game ball. I got to go with the rookie, DeRon Bland. Heard some great things about him in the preseason. Had a bad game 3 weeks ago when they played Green Bay. Alan Lazard tossed him to the side and got a 19-yard slant play that set up Christian Watson's 3rd touchdown and tied the game up in the 4th quarter. So, but he's, I see him at some point maybe taking over that 2nd corner spot, but he's a backup slot corner right now. And with Brown out, and of course Jordan Lewis out, now he's going to be called upon. But he ended up with 8 tackles, 4 unassisted, 2 interceptions, not 1 but 2. Right. So definitely DeRon Bland gets a game ball. I'm gonna give the other rookie, Damone Clark, a game ball because he came back from some spinal fusion. Okay, when he got drafted. Okay, he ain't supposed to be playing this year, but that dude's fought his tail off to get on the field. Okay, he's made it. But Joe Cox, also an LSU Tiger, can't get on the field. And some of the matchups and stuff, he can't get on the field. But Damone had like 3 tackles, 2 solo, forced that fumble off of Mo Alley Cox, and they got returned by Malik Hooker. Okay, and so that safety, Malik Hooker got the splashy stats. The steady stats go to Wilson, Donovan Wilson, who had 10 tackles, 9 solo, a sack, and a tackle for loss. Jaron Curse had 7 tackles, 7 solo, and 2 tackles for loss. Okay, so all of them dudes get game balls. Okay, not gonna give Dak one, but even though Dak had a well-managed game, 12 of 20, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did have that quirky interception. Almost had a second one. Okay, he threw the CD Lamb on the right line. I don't in the 4th quarter. I don't know what he was doing there, but it wasn't one, and we ended up scoring and got a penalty, and we ended up not scoring. They ended up scoring anyway, so end up winning, going away 54-19. So anywho, that's the thing. That's the game. My observations, cause for concern. Look, man, the 2 big plays. I mean, look, I can nitpick. He gave up stuff. Jonathan Taylor, a 19-yard run, but for the most part, they only had 30 carries for 108 yards. That's like 3.5 yards a carry. I'll take that any day and every day. As strong an offensive line and good running backs as those are, I'll take that every day. And our offensive line, I'll give them a game ball team, though I don't have it listed there. But we had 220 yards rushing. Let me get this right. We had 220 yards rushing on 34 carries, which is 5 yards per rush. Okay, about the 5th time this season we'd have like a 200-yard rushing game. So those are all the game balls. Those are all of my cause for concerns. Don't really have any. Looking forward to playing Houston next week and going to 10-3, because it don't look like the Eagles gonna lose now. It looks like we want to handle our own business. Seems like nobody want to handle our business for us. The Titans didn't want to handle it. They laid down to the Eagles today, 35-10, whatever. So anyway, so now I'm going to make an addendum to the video I made on Friday, where it's talking about LeBron James making the statement about Jerry Jones, making the picture that surfaced from the Washington Post. Now, I did make some comments about, the comment that that LeBron was saying, basically saying, why ain't y'all asking me about it? That's what he said. Okay. But, and isn't he being asked about that? But he was wrong because he had gotten talked to about that in the Dallas media like 4 or 5 times. Told you Calvin Hill and Calvin Watkins, two respected writers in the Dallas Fort Worth area, interviewed him and in conjunction with the rest of the guys in the press conference. So it's like 4 other press conferences. Like in 5 days, 6 days, he had like 4 or 5 press conferences. Okay. Now, my problem with LeBron was like why he felt like he was important enough that they got to run stuff by him, like he's like the authority figure on all things, whatever. That's my problem with that. Okay. And my thing is you don't report on other things. It's just certain things you report on that people pull your strings that you got to go do. But he did make an interesting point. And I went back and looked at my video and I was looking, I said, I meant to make a point on this particular, because this thing has layers to it. And I was listening to it. And I said, why didn't I get back to my other point? And I never got back to it. I got on a tangent and didn't get back to making my secondary point on the thing. The point LeBron was trying to make, and I agree with him on this, is why is not more people in the media mentioning it? Not that they got to break him over the coals or rake him over the coals with it, but nobody's even talking about it. It's like they're on code not to mention it. I watched the telecast tonight. Nowhere in the thing. Now listen to the telecast on Thanksgiving. Nobody in the telecast, Chris Collinsworth, Mike Tirico, any of the dudes, Tony Romo, any of the guys that was on not Tony Romo. Was it Tony Romo that did the game on Thanksgiving? Or was it I think it might have been Kevin Burkholdt and the other guy. I think it was those dudes, but nobody mentioned it. Okay. And I get that because that should have been mentioned at some point. Like, yeah, the picture there, yeah, it's not a good look or whatever. And not just trying to make him, paint him to be a racist or whatnot. Because, you do something 14, you deserve an opportunity to get yourself right and make amends. Because we believe in second and third chances. We're a society that does that. Okay. But nobody even mentions it. And I wouldn't even say nothing about it if there wasn't like 4 major incidents in other sports that, and then on telecast involving those teams, it got mentioned. It didn't get, it wasn't like they made a big deal out of it, but it got mentioned. Namely, if you want to go back, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, rather, maybe not 4, maybe 2.5 months ago, the Emeka Udoka thing for the Celtics, the affair with the travel secretary or whatever she was, and and then the Celtics making a big deal out of it. They talked about that on the telecast when the Celtics played. They talked about that, and when the Nets played, because he might have been good, they talked about that. They didn't beat it over the head, but they talked about it. They didn't just say, okay, we're not going to talk about that. No, they talked about it. Okay. The Kyrie Irving thing, they talked about it. That's what LeBron was saying. So we all talked to me, asked me about that, but yeah, of course they're going to ask him about it. He used to play with Kyrie, and that's in your sport. I get that. Okay. But they also talk about it when the Nets play basketball or whatever. They talk about it. They mentioned it in the telecast in passing. They Kyrie's missing games because he sent a link to what was deemed to be anti-Semitic or whatever the case you thought it might have been, and they talked about it, and then they went on to something else, but it got mentioned. Okay, don't get me started about the Deshaun Watson thing, and I'm not saying it shouldn't have been talked about because whatever he did, he did it, whatever. Yeah, should have been talked about. But they talked about it all the time, especially during preseason when he was actually playing preseason snaps and stuff like that, and and then when it was going on trying to figure out how long they was going to have him be suspended for, it was talking about it, so they didn't talk about any long drawn out, but they talked about it. They mentioned it. All right. In basketball too, another thing, earlier in preseason, the Golden State Warriors team that I kind of follow and kind of admire had a little dust up with 2 of their star players, Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. Punched him, and it got seen by cameras. And on some of the basketball telecasts, I heard what's her name? I can't think of her name, but I heard her talk about it. And she got drugged for it on the in Twitter and stuff like that. So, but it got talked about. It wasn't like no 15-minute diatribe, but it got mentioned. Yeah, Warriors gonna have some issues to work on this and during this season. And, they work on their chemistry due to the dust up that happened in training camp, and everything. So, but they talked about it. How have a picture surface fit for 65 years ago? This guy at this historic event, and he's there. And not to even say that he was, involved in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but the oddity that he was there and it never get mentioned. And it's almost like I didn't hear nobody talk about that tonight. Okay. Last Thanksgiving, none of the telecasts, none of the football telecasts, none of the, none of that. The NFL Network, it's like they're on code. Don't mention this. Leave this alone. And I'm like, now, if there had been some other folks, good and daggum well. If President Biden, because he's about 80 also, he's about 80 just like Jerry Jones is. If they found out in the 50s he did something like that, it'd be all over the news. Okay? Not to mention other people. So, yeah, now from that perspective, I see what LeBron's talking about. I'm with him 120%. Where I'm not with him is why he felt like they needed to have talked to him about that. Like he's some sort of authority on civil rights or something, or in other things and whatnot. And what I've always said to folks is that the people that consider themselves civil rights pioneers today aren't like the people that were 35, 50, 60 years ago, because the mainstream works with you today. You could say anything, or police did something to you, or you got mistreated. You could go to MSNBC or go to CNN and make a report. And you got allies, people going, lawyers helping you. When Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, all those guys were making their protests, doing the stuff they was doing back then, the mainstream media was fighting you. They were working against you. So you actually swimming uphill. So it's a totally different thing. You got allies now to help you make your case, help you with whatever you try to do. And corporations are with it, whatever you try to do, because everybody trying to cancel people. So they're on board with that because there's money in canceling people. They love to do that. TMZ love it. Okay. But yes, I'm with LeBron James on that. It should have got mentioned. And I'm not trying to say that Jerry Jones is a racist or anything like that. I would never say that, but he was there, and whatever capacity it was, he was there. And, he sort of talked about it, whatever. And, and I think that it should have got mentioned, because if it happened to somebody else, it would have got mentioned, That's all I'm saying. That's all the brother's saying. But that's all I want to say to add to that, what I had on my Friday night, Saturday morning video. But getting back to the main subject at hand, Cowboys win 54-19, go to 9-3, Houston Texans coming to Dallas, Arlington, I should say, AT&T next week. And we're ready for them. We're ready to try to go 10-3. And let's see, and as long as we don't get too big-headed, we're going to go 10-3, 11-3, and wait for them Philadelphia Eagles. If there ain't nobody else going to do our work for us, we going to do our own dirty work and slap them upside the head. But that's all I got from the desk on Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed on anything that we do here, because everything I do, I try to make sure it's researched. It's always where you can Google. I was talking about the A-list actress. You can go back and Google that, talking about the thing what happened to Tamir Rice and all the stats and stuff. It's all verifiable. So, so you won't be disappointed if you hang out with Uncle Fred. But that's all I got. We catch you guys on the next video. Catch you guys later. God bless.